3 or 4 different broadcasts on YouTube if OBS keeps disconnecting. All right, so is Lisa here? I'm not sure if Lisa's gotten lost. I don't want to do her charming until I'm sure she's back in the room. Shit. This is a wonk day. I swear to God, it's wonky. You know what it is? I'm gonna screw it. I'm gonna get on camera. See this? It's so gross. It just makes, but I need to get on camera. I think that it's like super wonky, and I'm not shaved. I feel like an old man. My hair's clean though. What little hair I have. But it's clean. I took a shower, so it looks fluffy. I just feel like I look bad, so I don't want to be on camera. I hate this. I'm waiting for the doctor to call so that they can remove it. But I gotta stop hiding. I can't like hide behind the camera, so I'll wait until I see Lisa. I need to get, make sure that Lisa's on before I start. What happened to me? It's a sty. Do you see it? I think it's a sty. It's on my lower lid. Oh, wrong eye. I'm not allowed to touch it. But look at that. It's nasty. I've been dealing with it for a couple of days. I think it's due to stress. And it just kind of like rose up and just like plunked itself there, and it's like won't go away. I went to the ophthalmologist. I went to the doctor. The doctor gave me antibiotics. The antibiotics made it worse. Like it got better for a minute, and then the antibiotics made it get like it got bigger and redder. And then I went to another doctor, the ophthalmologist, and they said, we don't want to touch it. You need to go to a ocular plastic surgeon. So I have to go to Dallas. So I'm waiting for a referral to go to Dallas, or drained or something, because it's close to my eye. I don't know if it's an ingrown eyelash. I don't know. So it's like, and it was kind of sore. Now it doesn't hurt as much, but it also popped open like I think last night because I've been hot compressing it. But it just feels gross, and then there's, you know, I just don't like being on camera when I feel like I look kind of gnarly. And I also didn't shave, and so, and there's like, I don't know, it's stupid. There's just a particular someone that I don't want to see me like this. So, and they're probably lurking somewhere in the closet in the background, sniffing panties in my closet while watching me with a big sore on my eye. And something inside of me says that they probably don't care anyways. They're still just like, they're probably wearing my underwear as a mask for coronavirus. They've got those creeper kind of vibes. I'm just kidding. I hope he's not watching. Anyways, if he is, whatever. Whatever. If he is, he's probably laughing because he has a good sense of humor. But I'm not laughing at this. This is embarrassing. I feel gross. I can hear you, but the video froze? Fuck! Thanks, Kat. Kat's like, oh my God, I didn't know they could get that big. I've heard that. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, Kat, I'm just saying. Oh, my grandma said that you have to put the old key towards it and repeat. How it comes that way, it should go. You can try it, can't hurt you. It said that you have to put the old key towards it. What do you mean the old key, Ivana? That's what they were saying, is that I need an ocular plastic surgeon to like have it surgically removed. It's weird. To avoid infection. Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm worried, because it's really close to my eye. Oh, thank you, Casey. She says, oh, psh, you're gorgeous. Wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't said anything. Except that my eyeball's hanging down here. Oh, okay. I know, Andrew. I know you want to teabag me. It's not going to happen. All right, past life for Lisa. Let me go back. Now I feel less self-conscious because I've shown you my brute eye. But can you imagine wandering around with coronavirus scare in Walmart with this on your face? Could you imagine the looks I was getting today? It was a mess, girl. All right, let's do past life for Lisa Vanderhelm. Past life. This is Interesting. Okay. So we've got a V. We've got an I. We've got a D. We've got not likely. Right out of the gate, like, I'm kind of confused because I'm being pulled in two different directions. This Ganesh is making me think India, but then the Eiffel Tower is making me think like Europe. And I feel like you were wealthy in this lifetime, but I feel like you weren't happy. And the reason why is like almost all of these charms are overturned, Lisa. Oh, I can't see the box. I'll explain to you why I feel this. Um, so this is the heart center charm, right? The heart chakra charm, and it's face down. And I feel like you were European, but I feel like you were really wealthy in this lifetime, and I feel like you probably traveled a lot. That's what this India reference is. I feel like you also like this meditation, like you were a spiritual person because you have the meditation symbol here. This big gold one, but it's face down. It's got all the chakras on it. You also have the feng shui thing. I feel like you were really wealthy. And I feel like you were married. I feel like maybe it was your husband's wealth, but it didn't matter. Like you probably had wealth in your own family. And I feel like you were very well traveled, European, and let me just look at this for a minute. Like you were well traveled, educated, and had a lot going on for you, but I feel like at the time you weren't necessarily allowed to do as much as you wanted or have as much independence as you would have liked. I feel like you were married to a gentleman that was also very wealthy. I feel like you didn't necessarily love him. I feel like you guys had a sort of a marriage, right, that was based out of convenience. That's this not likely thing where it was sort of like you did what you were supposed to do. And I get this kind of feeling of like I want to roll my eyes, like like ugh. Only because it was like, how do I want to say this? Like it wasn't challenging for you enough. Or like you wanted to have more freedom in your life. You wanted to be more um, like you pursued knowledge, you pursued spirituality, you pursued a lot of things in this lifetime that maybe he wasn't very interested in. He was very different. He was more business, maybe the money earner, that sort of a thing. So I kind of get a feeling like you two sort of led separate lives. And even though there was like a sort of maybe a mutual respect in this relationship, it wasn't necessarily, he was not like the love of your life per se. You weren't totally impassioned by him, or it was almost like to me, it almost feels like it was like a business deal. So it was, in some ways, it feels like it might have stifled you in a little bit. Um, and the reason why I say that is the scissors right here in the center of all of this feels like you want to cut it all away, or you would have cut it all away if you felt as though you could have, but you didn't. Like you couldn't. It was sort of like maybe the families expected you guys to be married, or there was a agreement. It's just sort of what like sort of the wealthy of this generation did. Like I almost feel like this might have been. I don't know if there certainly wasn't planes back then, but there you might have been on like I feel like I'm seeing steamships. Like that might have been how you traveled, or by boat. I feel like you didn't necessarily travel alone. You might have had staff with you, but he never went with you. I feel like you sort of spent a lot of your time alone, away from him, doing your pursuits, like this meditation. You have the feng shui charm, you have the India charm. Like, I almost feel like maybe you lived in Europe and then would like boat your way to India, go on journeys to India or somewhere else to sort of study mystical teachings or whatever. He didn't necessarily uh, agree with it per se, but he didn't forbid you from doing it. And then there's this idea that I feel like this stuff made you happy, but it wasn't still fulfilling because you were still missing this key component of like that love or that opportunity to explore these things that excited you. Like you have knowledge, you have meditation, you have healing, all of these things that like sort of were important to you, even the magic of the unicorn. They were all important to you, but they were all, I feel like they're all flipped over, kept to yourself. Like you kept them not hidden, but you couldn't necessarily share them with a lot of your friends, your husband. You were maybe seen quite kind of sort of eccentric in a way. But I get this feeling that you were wealthy enough that you were allowed to do it, right? Like nobody stood in your way. You didn't allow anybody to stand in your way. Like I literally feel like when they would say like, no, you can't go, it's too dangerous. You'd be like, I'm going and I'm taking, these 3 staff members. So I'm not going alone. I'll be fine. So you were sort of defiant in some ways, but not like, it wasn't like a mean defiance, right? It was more like like these were the things that you wanted to pursue. So you went about doing it